Well, here we go with some more Democrat misdirection. It would seem that people will start seeing this stuff as obvious. They're constantly trying to do misdirection. What's the latest one? They bring back the Epstein thing again. Some email with the name redacted of a woman that's supposedly involved with Trump. Well, let me show you this woman whose name is redacted. This is Virginia Guffey, who unfortunately is now deceased. This is the woman. That email came from the Epstein estate, and her name was not redacted. The Democrats redacted it because they wanted to try to sow in confusion, sow in that there's this person that has the goods on Trump when this woman had already testified that she didn't. They don't want you to think about what they don't want you to think about, and that's the misdirection. That is the fact.
It will actually reduce the deficit by $4 trillion over the long term. Reducing the waste and inefficiency in Medicare and Medicaid will pay for most of this plan. It will slow the growth of healthcare costs for our families, our businesses, and our government. There will be a provision in this plan that requires us to come forward with more spending cuts if the savings we promised don't materialize.
They don't want you to think about all those lies. Not to mention the one that if you want your doctor, you can keep your doctor. They don't want, because all this stuff is coming home to roost. People are getting bills of these gigantic increases. All the Democrats knew would come because they are the ones, the only ones that wrote up that Obamacare bill. They don't want you to think about that. And the guy who wrote the bill himself knew it was a lie from day one. Listen to him.
You can't do it politically. You just literally cannot do it. Okay? Transparent financing, unless I have transparent financing, also transparent spending. I mean, this bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay? So it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay? Just like lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass. And, it's the second best argument. Look, I wish Mark was right. We can make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not. So it's kind of like his reporter story. There's things I wish I could change, but I'd rather have this law than not.
So first of all,
I'd rather have it not. The stupidity of the American voter. The stupidity of the American voter. That's what Democrats always do. But one question you should ask yourself, and this meme pretty much answers it. The one question people, they don't want you to think about is this. What did it say here? If Trump was on the Epstein list, I would have released it years ago. You can bet on that, Jack. I thank the person who made that meme. Because think about it. They tried to imprison him. They had him on like 2 court cases in Washington, D.C., one in Atlanta, Georgia, with old Fatty Fanny. They had the cases in New York, Alvin Bragg. They tried to assassinate him. They did everything. They tried to keep him off the ballot. They were doing everything they could to get rid of Trump. And for 4 years, Joe Biden, the Justice Department under Joe Biden, the Democrats with Nancy Pelosi and all those folks, they had all of this Epstein stuff. And if they really had something on Trump, don't you think they would have brought it out then when it could have made a difference? Now they're just bringing it out for misdirection. Now they're bringing it out because their behind is showing that this Obamacare that they lied to you many years ago is starting to bite people in the butt.